A YouTuber is calling on his supporters in a newly posted video to petition a Las Vegas judge for his release after he was recently jailed by her. 49-year-old Chille DeCastro was sentenced to 6 months by Justice of the Peace Ann Zimmerman after he was found guilty of obstructing justice for interfering with a police traffic stop. For more details on what was said in the video, you can visit lvrj.com.
Hello world, my name is Chille DeCastro. I'm an innocent man locked up in the Las Vegas dungeon at Clark County Detention Center here in Nevada. What is my recourse? Release me from this jail immediately. This is an open op-ed to Ann Zimmerman and the judges in the world. How do we get justice in America? Judge Ann Zimmerman has jailed me for filming a cop. What's worse is I didn't violate the statute of obstruction. It's unjust, it's unfair, it's wrong that I was arrested to begin with. There's no victim, there's no restitution due, there's no damages. But yet I've been in this dungeon now for 6 weeks.
Yes, I do have a YouTube channel, and the reason I have a YouTube channel is because of how many cops kill people every year, how many cops hurt, maim, torture, rape, and kill people every single year. It's such an epidemic that the rest of the world, I get thousands of emails saying, only in America does this happen. I started filming cops because when I was cheated in 2002.
Objection at this point, relevance.
Well, this is the British member of the press.
This narrative.
So, can you ask him a question?
Yes, Your Honor. What type of films do you make for your YouTube channel?
I only film police in their official capacity. I'm known across the country and across the world.
And why do you engage in that type of filming?
So I'm going to ask you, Mr. Mead, to direct your questions about the incident in question.
The reason I was filming Mr. Gort that day?
Objection, Your Honor. Oh, sorry.
So
There wasn't a question posed, so I'm not here what he was.
Mr. DeCastro, on the question, why did you approach that vehicle?
I was filming that cop because that's what I do for a living. I am a member of the press, and I invoked my right to be press. I always invoke my right to be press within the first 10 seconds of engaging with police, and I have thousands of videos that prove this.
this is how you make money.
This is not how specifically I make money. I make money from selling legal documents to people.
Okay, good enough.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. All right, well, this is a video that we covered in our live stream pretty much. Patrick Darcy breaking down Chille's phone call. We broke down Chille's phone call and Patrick's video, so it's all been gone over, but I wanted to put a video together, throw a little bit of humor in there, and also some excerpts of the of Chille actually making some of these statements, some of the constitutional law scholar BS that he spews around. We've all known it for a long time that he files motions improperly and doesn't understand court proceedings at all, period. The Josh Abrams trials of civil trials, a great example of that. So, yeah, having a little bit of fun with it, but thanks to attorney Patrick Darcy, he has been very insightful on this subject when it comes to Chille. There isn't anybody that hits the nail on the head like Patrick does. So thanks to him. And all right, let's move forward. Have a little bit of fun with this. Enjoy it. I hope you find some humor in it. Hit that like and subscribe. Help my channel if you like what I'm doing. And let's get on with the show.
I think some of his call actually was a crime, but it'll be ultimately determined by a court. I think he could be indicted for what he did.
100%. I also informed him I'm a member of the press, I'm a constitutional law scholar, that this is what I do.
You see, telling somebody to send all this stuff to the court is not petitioning. Petitioning has a very well-defined meaning. Recalling a judge, voter referendums, those are petitioning. Judge Zimmerman is out of the case because it was appealed. She doesn't have jurisdiction.
As known across the country as I am, I'm going to make Ann Zimmerman famous for being a tyrant. She is wrong, and she's a bad person as far as I'm concerned. And what have I asked for the people? To petition her, write her a letter, and tell her she's wrong.
That's with the appellate court, district court. So when Chille tells you to send 100,000 petitions to Judge Zimmerman, he's sending it to the person that has the least amount of control over this case, because she has no control over it. She already tried the case. She already made her decision. There's nothing that's going to be changed there. Wouldn't it make you wonder about how much he really understands about the court system?
I'm a constitutional law scholar, that this is what I do.
When he's telling you to, in my book, this looks like targeting, okay? I'm told, I don't know, I'm told there's call flooding going down there, that people are mailing a lot of shit to the courthouse. Listen, you're talking about a judge here, okay? And if the judge has the reactions that are within the statute, Chille could wind up getting indicted because Chille used a phone system and then broadcasted it through the internet as defined under the NRS. And you know what that does? It takes it from a simple misdemeanor with a 6-month penalty to 1 to 5 years of prison time. And for those people who want to send these petitions, which are not petitions, to the judge, and if she has a very bad reaction to it, they may just decide to tag the followers with aiding and abetting criminal liability and wind up giving them the same sentences. And then you could be in jail with him. There is nothing to be gained from this, and it is unlawful behavior in my book. It is outright criminal harassment.
You douchebag! You're a douchebag! I'm a constitutional law scholar. I dare you to arrest me for no reason, you stupid f***. I filed 3 civil rights lawsuits this year. You'll be my 4th.
The federal cyber stalking statute, I got it here. This would fit it. You know, if she feels intimidated, if she feels threatened, if she feels uneasy, unsafe, you know, she could very well ask a grand jury to be impaneled and indict Chille on it and then start tagging the people who did it. And believe me, you're not so anonymous on the internet. I've dragged many people out from behind their keyboards right into a courtroom. If you know how to do it, you know how to do it. I would suggest that you don't do this. It says to do an act, any act, which is intended, has to be intent to substantially harm the person threatened, threats are one thing, or any other person with respect to his or her physical or mental health or safety. So now we get into a state of mind. What about the recipient of this? And a conjunction means add it. B, the person by words or conduct, that would be Chille, places the person receiving the threat in reasonable fear that the threat will be carried out. For the first offense, a misdemeanor. This is where things get a little bit dicey. A person who commits the crime of stalking, notice it's a criminal offense, with the use of an internet or network site, electronic mail, text messaging, or any other similar means of communication to publish, distribute information in a manner that substantially increases the risk of harm or violence to the person, is now liable under a category C felony. Except as otherwise provided, which means despite what else it may say, a criminal penalty provided for in this section may be imposed in addition to any penalty that may be imposed for any other criminal offense. So this is not in lieu of, this is on top of. We violated there. Here's the website. Is an internet, I mean, super vague. Category C felony is for which a court shall sentence a convicted person to imprisonment at least a year, not more than 5 years, unless a greater fine is authorized, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so here's the federal cyber stalking statute. Anyone with the intent, willful, it's an intent, to harass, intimidate, or place under surveillance with the intent to injure, harass, or intimidate, uses the mail. Oh,
but Ann can't get a letter. Petitions that she's not going to read and won't open. But she will look at the mail deliverer and act how pained she is as she rolls her eyes. And she can't believe she's getting petitioned and she's receiving letters. Of course you are, Ann. Poor little baby.
Isn't that what he said? Any interactive computer service, that's defined by the Federal Wiretap Act to include just about anything that's electronic. Electronic communication servers, electronic communication of interstate commerce, certainly YouTube and everywhere else. engage in a course of conduct that causes, attempts to cause. Doesn't necessarily mean that it did. That's what I was telling you. They don't have to suffer from emotional distress or would reasonably expect it to cause substantial emotional distress, shall be punished under this section, which is up to 5 years and $250,000. I gave you guys all the cases on that. So let's now take a look at the rest of this.
This report is my verbal op-ed. Judge.
See, by calling it op-ed, he's trying to act like it's a protected opinion, but opinions aren't protected. If you look at the Milkovich decision.
Ann Zimmerman, this message is to you. Release me from this jail.
Okay, this shows a fundamental misunderstanding of civil procedure and constitutional law.
You douchebag! You're a douchebag! I'm a constitutional law scholar. I dare you to arrest me for no reason, you stupid
When the case is finished, she loses jurisdiction to even hear anything. You can't just plead for her to do this because there's no authority for her to be able to do this, or any judge. This isn't a political prisoner thing, and I think he's confused about that.
The ordeals of prison.
I want that name, and I want it now.
Please.
The pleas, he's trying to think that it somehow mitigates against the possible implied threats here. Let's take a look.
I've taken responsibility publicly and agreed with my family, friends, and colleagues that my behavior in court was inappropriate.
Inappropriate is an understatement. It's what we call a euphemism.
For this reason, I say to Judge Ann Zimmerman now, release me from this jail.
Okay, that goes against the rule of law because there isn't, if there was a way to release you, Chille, through the court system, well, you've already tried twice and you've lost both times. That was the rule of
I'm a constitutional law scholar. I dare you to arrest me for no reason, you stupid
law. You're not asking for rule of law here.
Well then, Judge Ann Zimmerman's principles are inconsistent and out of bounds.
Okay, this could be considered a legitimate criticism in an op-ed piece. You know, those that run for public office, it's the Sam Yorty decision here in California. You better be ready to take a lot of slings and arrows, but there are limits to those slings and arrows.
We have identified a dozen cases that went back to a bench trial. A bench trial means that Judge Zimmerman is the judge, jury, and executioner.
Okay, when you say she's an executioner, you're kind of now starting to lose credibility. She's not an executioner, okay? She's the judge. And you, as a constitutional law scholar, waived your right to a jury trial, and you waived it. And you had a right to a trial by jury, and you waived it. You made the tactical decision to have the entire thing heard by one fact finder. You did that.
And so far, we have 3 exact cases that are the same as my charges, the same NRS codes. In the past year, this judge has given these 3 defendants impulse training classes, and then the misdemeanor would fall off their record.
Okay, same exact facts, huh, Chille?
Ann Zimmerman, release me from this jail at once, please.
Again, there's no rule of law that allows that.
Why would the judge show obvious bias and give me such an unfair and harsh sentence?
Now, I agree. I thought the sentence was harsh. It was more than I was expecting. And I warned everybody months ago that he could be convicted and then probably convicted on both counts, and they would string them together. I didn't think 6 months. I did not expect that. Maybe the judge got a little irritated with him when he was giving her the thumbs up about how he hates all cops.
He called the officers here in my courtroom today pigs. He called and he's nodding his head up and down. So apparently he hates every law enforcement officer in the United States. All right, please stand up, sir.
What can you do about it? First, because Zimmerman is not her maiden name.
This is really out of bounds now. This to me gets into the line of doxing. You don't need to go into her personal life at all. In fact, I think you've really crossed the line here.
Zimmerman is the name of the Las Vegas Metro Police Lieutenant she married over 2 decades ago. Even after he divorced her, she kept the last name, meaning Judge Zimmerman loves cops, and I do not.
Well, whose fault is that one? You never disqualified this judge. You allowed this judge to hear all of your pretrial motions. You allowed this judge to be the judge of your case. Now you're complaining that she's biased?
Jose DeCastro, 23 CR 013015.
Morning, Your Honor. Michael Mead, 13726, on behalf of the defendant. He is present with me in court this morning.
This matter's on for a trial date. It's been called off as I received some additional discovery last week. I'd like to reset this matter in the ordinary course for about 60 days.
So do you have everything you need now? Or,
Your Honor, I believe I have everything the court has ordered. There might be additional issues I seek to address before the next trial date, but I am still reviewing the materials I have.
all right. I don't care.
December 19th at 9:30.
Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I have just been informed my client is not going to be in the country on that date. Can we push it out another month?
Sir, can you tell me when you're not in the country?
I can go slightly before that date if you have any availability, but I'll be out of the country from December and January. The second part of December, most of January.
How about early December?
How's December 6th?
Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You as well.
Just to validate, he had plenty of opportunity to make changes in his case. This was September the 12th of 2023. They're still piddling around with motions and trying to get, the trial set. As we know, it didn't take place till March 19th. Chille here tells the judge he's going to be out of the country the last half of December and the first half of January. Now, the previous year he did go to Colombia and he did a couple live streams from there, but he didn't do that this year. He was live streaming from his studio. He's got plenty of them posted on his channel throughout the last part. He even had a Christmas special. So why he does this stuff, I have no idea. The next clip is December the 6th hearing. So interesting again. Hit that like and subscribe if you like what I'm doing. Let's get back to it.
No, Your Honor, we filed a motion to continue.
Oh, I see it.
No motion. Put Ms. Jefferson filed a motion. She put Mr. Me on notice of this on November 29th. So we're asking to reset the trial based on the motion we filed.
Did you receive a copy of the motion?
Your Honor, I have a copy of the motion if I could be heard on that.
Yep.
So it looks to me that the subpoena referenced in the affidavit was not timely submitted 10 days prior to this date. Beyond that, Your Honor, all the information that contains in the affidavit is that the officer is currently on leave under the Family Medical Leave Act, but there's no information about whether he's in this jurisdiction, out of this jurisdiction, if this is a medical issue. For the witness to be absent for the purposes of Hill, there either has to be an absence from the jurisdiction or a medical issue. Now, this might imply one of those situations exists, but I have no information one way or the other to confirm if that's the case. Just because he's on leave, he could be on leave within this jurisdiction and able to appear. So there's not enough information in the affidavit to grant the motion to continue.
Okay, Michael Mee's objection is that there wasn't enough information provided, and he referenced some case law, Hill, and this is why I don't think Michael Mee was that great. I'm not an attorney like Patrick, so I can't make the call except I can smell BS, and I have a feeling Chille looked this up and gave it to me to present. But as you'll hear, the prosecuting attorney is going to shut that down quickly. Here we go.
I'll submit that, thank you. So there is no 10-day service of subpoena requirement for Hill. That's not a part of the Hill case. In fact, the Hill case doesn't actually even require service of a subpoena. It's a due diligence showing by the state that they exercise their due diligence in attempting to acquire the witness. The information from the officer was that he's gone on the Family Medical Leave Act and is unable to appear in the court. And I know that I don't know the specifics, but I know that there are rules in terms of what someone can or can't do when they are on FMLA leave. And so that's the information we were given. We're asking the court to continue this matter until after January 2nd, when the witness is no longer on FMLA leave. We're not asking for some crazy amount of time. It's a reasonable request. The other consideration is that the defendant's out of custody, And there's no real prejudice to the defendant by granting this motion to continue until January 2nd. If he was in custody, obviously that'd be different, but I'd ask the court grant the motion based on the submission by the state.
Nice try, boys. He shut that down real quick. It didn't even apply what the case law apparently didn't even apply to what he was presenting, and we're familiar with Chille doing that all the time with like Rodriguez versus United States. He's always using that, and it doesn't have anything to do with what he's applying it to. Anyway, so anything they can do to try to get a little edge here, but that's what you're supposed to do, I suppose. But it just cracks me up as how far off base they can be sometimes. Chille's side, I don't get it. All right, we'll turn it back over to the great hands of Patrick Darcy. He can answer all those kinds of questions. Let's carry on.
I was not here on November 30th, but the minutes say that the state represented that they will be filing a whole motion to continue the bench trial as the lead officers are available. So I think you are aware of that on November 30th.
I was aware of that. The motion had not been filed
Sure.
all that time, but it was discussed at that hearing, yes, Your Honor.
So it was actually filed that morning, later in the morning. So the state has met their burden under the Hill case. I will grant the motion to continue. I will set it on the date in January, after which the officer is available, and I'm happy to set it at the convenience of both parties.
Your Honor, if it is going to be January, my availability later in the month would be better.
Later in the month would be better, more towards the end of January?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, how about January 23rd at 9:30?
That works for the defense, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
January 23rd, 9:30.
Second, what can you do about it? You can petition her and petition the court to release me now. I know for a fact that thousands of you, good and patriotic Americans, have called, emailed, and sent your petition to the court in the form of a letter asking.
Okay, now the mail service is involved, and you might think as a supporter you're doing something wonderful by voicing your support for him. But let's say they get 25,000 letters. That is going to be an immense burden on the court, opening it, reading it, scanning it, dealing with it. And then they may just think that you're harassing her because you don't like the decision. And suddenly these other statutes come to life. There's ways to deal with this without making yourself susceptible to additional criminal charges. Like, how about contempt of court?
And demanding that I am released from this dungeon. Thank you.
See, the reason that he can't do this is there's no law that provides for this. So now this sounds the opposite of him trying to uphold the law. This sounds like anarchy.
But we have not done enough. We, you and me, have a First Amendment right to petition our government
Yes.
and its officials when they have lost their virtue and broken their principles.
Yeah, that's actually true. There is a procedure for that, for example, and also recall people. You can also vote them out of office. In California here, we voted out 3 Supreme Court justices because they would never uphold the death penalty. Under any circumstances, they found reasons not to. The people spoke. That is petitioning. This is not petitioning.
We have not petitioned them enough. It is our only recourse to redress the clear and biased judge who's gone out.
Notice the word only. That means there's no other ways to do this. That's flat out wrong. He's wrong.
Out of her reason and purpose to jail a nonviolent journalist. Zimmerman has behaved like a monarch or a queen in a despotic government.
Not true. She's actually carrying out the will of the people of the state of Nevada as set forth by the legislature. Change to this by changing the laws, then the judges have to uphold the law as changed, because the trial court has to follow existing law. You get a chance at the appellate court, they can interpret it, but it's not Judge Zimmerman. She doesn't do that.
Like a rogue judge in an aristocratic government. We have a republic government that is supposed to be navigated by...
Actually, you said that wrong. I hear people say this is a democracy. No, it is not. It's a constitutional republic. Learn the difference.
By objective law, not by personal bias, by a judge who was the wife of a cop. Instead of acting as a custodian of justice, she has behaved like an obvious tyrant.
Okay, now we're getting into contempt of court, and this is bad. You get more time.
Petition her and demand that she release me from this dungeon immediately, swiftly, and please. Petition the court in the tens of thousands because it is the only recourse that we, the people, have. Judge Zimmerman.
In the tens of thousands, there's a right way of doing things and a wrong way. This is the wrong way. You're crossing into contempt, harassment, and possibly criminal charges. And another word for the followers, it's called aiding and abetting. That person was just as liable. It doesn't sound like an innocent thing here that he's asking. He's asking all of you almost as a mob to just descend on the courthouse.
Yeah, Brian over there at Here's the Deal, who has kind of backed off the whole Chille thing, but he was live streaming and spreading the same message and calling upon followers to write. I wonder how he feels about that. Maybe learning that that would be aiding and abetting. Oh, and then now it's Michael Eline. So doing the same thing. You know, they're using their platform to encourage their listeners or followers or subscribers, whatever you call them, to petition, which it's been pretty well defined by Patrick Darcy that it is not a petition. It's basically just harassment. Real interesting to see how things move forward, how those supporters, if they continue to use their platform to spread this nonsense.
The only way you will be able to restore the word honor to your name is by releasing me now.
That is, in my book, contempt of court. It has nothing to do with her honor. Like I said, she's already lost jurisdiction to hear this case. It's already in front of Judge Levitt now.
You've lost integrity. I do not believe.
Lost integrity, that gets into contempt. You could say things like the court got it wrong, but you can't say they've lost their integrity.
You have the right to search me illegally. I believe that you violated my constitutional rights, as did the bailiff under your directives when he...
Oh, so anyway, when you walk into a courtroom, there's signs up in front of the building that say you consent to search. You've consented to search. And then when you're in a courtroom, the judge has all kinds of power to implement order, control, and safety and security. And she knew that you've admitted to recording during, court sessions. And she had that rule for everyone. Surrender your phones to the marshal and you can watch. Otherwise, you got to go. That's not an illegal search and seizure at all. Show me the case law on that one. You can't.
And of course, it's clearly being pointed out to Chille by the bailiff. What a yo-yo.
So I have signed 2 media requests that permit recording or photographing these proceedings, but I have not granted any other requests to record or live stream these proceedings. So I need Mr. DeCastro and everybody else who wants to stay in the courtroom to surrender their phones, or you can leave.
Are your phones open and I'll take one, or you can have it.
I need Mr. DeCastro to empty all of his pockets.
What's that?
Empty your pockets.
And give up your phones to the judge.
Okay.
I have to give you my phones?
Yeah.
My phones have to be completely off?
Yep. I don't really want to be part of your YouTube channel. So.
You already are.
Great.
You already are.
Awesome. No.
I'm not going to get into this guy though. I'll get into someone else.
No, they're going to go to my marshal.
He's a pig.
Excuse me?
I said he's a pig.
Okay. So I'm not going to permit you to speak to anybody in my courtroom in that manner. And if you don't want to apologize, I'm going to hold you in contempt.
I apologize to the court, Your Honor.
No, you can apologize to, they've done nothing to you.
Actually, Your Honor, when you were here, you came over and gave me a directive for no reason and started telling me what to do.
Okay, well.
I have all the respect in the world for the court. I follow the rule of law.
As Dick Bag and I reported the night we covered this trial, we had a guest on the panel that was present in the gallery for this hearing. And yes, the bailiff did start giving Chille Chille some commands, or as Chille puts it, telling him what to do, because Chille at one point chose sitting on the front row of the gallery to prop his feet up on the banister. So he throws his feet up there and crosses his legs, and the bailiff told him to take his feet down. And of course, Chille's not going to listen to the bailiff on that, so they got in a tiff over that. And just like the bailiff pointed out the camera and cell phone rules mounted right there on the wall, and as Patrick noted, also in the lobby of the courthouse, it has postings about it. So we've seen it. We've seen it before with the Frauditors. It's posted all over the place. But you know, they say, well, those are rules. Those aren't laws. Yeah, you just got to find out the hard way, don't you? Oh, Chille. What a nutcase, man. What just doesn't get it. Just doesn't get it. I guess there isn't anybody more suitable to spend some time thinking about this kind of stuff and figuring out how to do it right than Chille DeCastro. All right, let's get back to it.
No, it is their job to maintain the safety and security of the courtroom.
I agree with you, Your Honor.
So if you want to speak like that in my courtroom, I'm going to hold you in contempt. And if I hold you in contempt, you're going to jail. That is not my wish. Okay?
I wish you would.
All right. So I need you to empty your pockets too. Suit pocket, pants pocket.
This is illegal. This is a violation of my Fourth Amendment.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. I don't have any recording devices on me. What are you talking about?
How about your suit jacket?
I don't have anything on me. This is preposterous.
No, it's
This really
not.
is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Mr. Me, your phone too. Off.
They're recording everything.
They have a media request.
Right, and I'm not recording anything. Your guy here took my phone, so his phone's not on.
Right.
Should make sure you take the lawyer's phone too?
No, I'm not going to take the lawyer's phone. He's an officer of the court. All right.
Perhaps it's because you, Judge Zimmerman, needs impulse training classes.
Okay, we're getting back into contempt again.
This is not an apology. I said I'm sorry for hurling slurs in court and calling the bailiff a pig, even if he was behaving like one. The courtroom is supposed to be a place where the insults cease. And
Where the insults cease, and calling a cop a pig, that's not an insult?
Come on. You gonna chase me? You gonna chase me, piggy? You gonna chase me, piggy? Oh, I'm scared of you, piggy. Why don't you leave?
It looks to me like he's reading something. In other words, he's had time to think about it, which is even worse.
petition her and petition this court. Send in your petition via U.S. Postal Service.
Bringing in the U.S. mail is usually a bad idea. By the way, the U.S. mail has the first and original law enforcement agency, the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, and they are really good at convicting people who mess with the U.S. laws regarding the mail. That Postal Inspection Service, Benjamin Franklin made them the very first federal police force to protect the mail. You bring this in, if it contains a threat, if it's adjudicated to be a threat, if it's deemed to be harassment, who knows? You might be facing separate federal charges again for something else.
Do not be rude, crass, or threatening. Hold on to your virtue and your self-respect that Judge Zimmerman lost when she put a nonviolent journalist, a champion of our civil liberties, in jail. I do not wish Judge Zimmerman fear or harm. No.
I do not wish it. Okay, so here's the, oh, hey, don't blame me. You know, I only shot my gun into a train that was going by. I didn't mean to kill anybody. Didn't mean to hit anybody, but hey, you know, if it happens, it wasn't my fault. You're igniting the match, Chille. And from what I've been told, lots of mail have already hit the courthouse and call flooding is going down. This is not legitimate activity. This is pure born harassment. And there's going to be a lot of people who think that maybe they're anonymous behind their keyboard and think it's funny. You wouldn't believe how simple it is to unmask people. I've unmasked many and dragged them kicking and screaming into a courtroom.
No, I do not. I want her to live every breath of her life where she sees the public has turned against her.
Oh, so that's not trying to instill fear into somebody? That's not threatening somebody? That's not affecting their mental health and safety? I'm saying right now, that to me is a clear threat. You just signed your name to it.
I want her to witness the side-eye sneer in every grocery store clerk, in every
Yeah, that to me is not only contempt of court, that's stalking now.
market, in every...
It's not my decision. I'm just offering my opinion, which has been right about just about everything involving Chille DeCastro.
He knows shit, y'all.
Every chance encounter, whether it be the dog groomer or the car wash, she will be the face of injustice, the living embodiment of tyranny. Judge Zimmerman at sentencing said to me that I hate cops. I thought it was my right to hate cops if I want to.
It is your right to hate cops. It's the way you go about it that's the problem.
If this is true or not, she said it and then jailed you, the cop.
I love the music in the background. That's supposed to move me. It does. It's more like a bowel movement. You can make that argument, but I would just say that she had a law in front of her, two of them, that allowed her to jail you, and then you broke the law, got busted for it, and she gave you the mid-range sentences, so she could have given you double the time.
Judge Zimmerman, how many hours of my videos did you watch before you met me in court?
I would say she definitely watched your videos because of the what she said when she sentenced you and what she said before court started.
The officer didn't protest that you were filming. There's no problem with filming. You can film, it's fine, all right? But you did interfere with his investigation. You did interfere with his ability to do his job. You did put him in a position where he is concerned for his safety and the safety of the driver. So I believe the state's met their burden beyond reasonable doubt. I'm going to find you guilty of obstructing a public officer and resisting a public officer.
But then again, you put those videos out for people to watch. I warned people when I talked about the federal cyber stalking statute that one thing that prosecutors are going to do is they're going to look at your videos to show pattern and knowledge and conduct and everything else. And that's kind of what she said when she says about your behavior. That's pattern, okay?
When you say he doesn't wish to engage in any wrongdoing, it seems to me from observing him in the video that he wants this. He wants to get arrested. He wants to get into an altercation with police officers. He welcomes this. This helps his YouTube channel. He called the officers here in my courtroom today pigs. He called and he's nodding his head up and down. So apparently he hates every law enforcement officer in the United States. All right, please stand up, sir.
I warned about all of this.
In my appeal bond hearing, Judge Zimmerman said that my attitude has not changed.
I think she's right.
I say now petition her, petition the court, release me now. 100,000 petitions. Send in your patriotic, respectful, detailed petition to Judge Ann Zimmerman. On the fold where you seal the envelope, write the words, release DeCastro in the name of justice. 100,000 petitions is our goal. Judge Zimmerman, the only way to restore any honor to your name is to release me now with time served. It's a fact that I will sue you. If you do not have me killed in here, then when
Okay, so we're going off the deep end again. You can sue her all you want. Just you can sue the prosecutors that you threaten. They all have full immunity while they're working in their job. So that will be probably anti-slapped.
I leave this jail, I will in fact sue you. I do not deserve to be here. However, I will not do anything illegal, and I'm not asking
Yeah, you just said that, but that's, in my opinion, not what you're doing.
you in any way, shape, or form to step out of bounds, fringe, and lawless. Be beyond reproach in your petition. Write nicely and print it out. Explain clear this cop-loving judge bias and her indefensible sentencing. We'll post both in the Las Vegas Review and the Sun when all the data scraping is complete.
Great, now you've guaranteed to make this a public issue, which means that anybody you sue, because you claim defamed them, will be able to anti-slap your ass immediately.
She broke her principles and she lost her virtue. Write it out, write it nicely, write it clear, write it clean. Just write it, put it in the mail, and send it.
So he wants you to write the words it. So just put the word it. He said write it. Write it.
I say to you this. I've been quiet, respectful, and shown deference.
I don't really believe any of that.
Upon leaving this jail, should I live through this, I will file a petition against the Clark County Detention Center for clearly cheating me and violating my civil rights. Nowhere in the Clark County Detention Center handbook does it read the words, no live streaming. Once again,
Well, if there isn't a rule against it now, you've just proven why there needs to be one. I agree completely that our civil liberties and our rights are completely under attack all the time now, and we must be vigilant. But I don't do it this way. Yeah, I agree. This isn't violence. No one said it is, but that doesn't change the fact that it looks to me to be outright harassment.
to my loyal people and supporters, you should hear from me always within 48 hours. Always. Please, unless you do not hear from me, let the jailers be. Outside of the
Let the jailers be. Doesn't that sound like more harassment to them?
unlawful searched me and demoralized me by looking at my backside. Outside of that, each individual guard has treated me fairly and within their policies.
Then why are you suing them?
I would like to thank them for doing that. I'd like my people to focus on petitioning the court for my release. We have another judge, Judge Michelle Levitt, who will be hearing my case on July 10th. The judges must be treated with respect and deference. The judges must be petitioned and told that this is wrong. I should be released immediately with time served.
I hereby sentence you to 90 days in the Clark County Detention Center on count 1, 90 days in the Clark County Detention Center on count 2, to run consecutive for a total of 180 days in custody. Thank you.
Sentence suspended or?
Oh no, I'm going to start right now.
Can you put you please?
Jesse, don't go! Jesse, no!
I'm sorry, Daisy, but I'm a loner, and a loner's gotta be alone.